Welcome back to the Healing Room, my new podcast. This is episode 2. If you're new here, my name is Kiana Hunt. I'm an independent R&B artist, a mom, and I'm currently on a sobriety journey. Last episode, I talked about why I started this podcast and how I felt like I was constantly starting over in life. I also went a little bit into my background of how I started doing music, how I grew up, how I was introduced to music, and why I got on this sobriety journey because I've been through a lot of things in my life. And I feel as though my music has always been my therapy. And I wanted to figure out a creative way to incorporate my music, my sobriety, and just my everyday life into my world where the world will understand who I am as a person. So today, I feel as though how I got started in my journey of sobriety and my journey of creating content, which I never even thought I would do. However, it's helping me become more confident and it's helping me build my media company. So I'm excited to share today about how starting over every Monday is holding you back. Because for a long time, I always felt like I was just beginning again. I would get motivated. I'd make a plan. I tell myself that this was the week that was going to change everything. And then something would happen. Like life would just happen. I would get distracted. I would get overwhelmed, discouraged, or just lose momentum. And before I knew it, another week would come around and I'll be telling myself the same story. This week is going to be different. The truth is, though, motivation did not change my life at all. And I will let you know because some days I want to give up. Some days I don't want to get dressed. I don't want to do my makeup. I don't want to do my hair. I don't want to be cute. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to do anything. Some days I just want to sit there and do nothing. But I know that if I don't do at least one thing towards my goal, then I won't feel satisfied within myself. So I don't use motivation for my journey at all. What I do is I set up systems. So I have a lot of aspects of my life, and I have a system for all of the aspects of my life. I really have a system. Now, my system is not perfect, but I do have a system, and I feel systems change my life. One of the biggest lessons I've learned this year is that you can't build a new life on motivation alone. Because motivation comes and goes. One day you'll feel so motivated to start your new workout journey, and the next day, you'll do it for a few weeks, and then you'll like stop. Well, I know that's true for me. Let me speak for me. I've started so many journeys, and I've started them and then stopped them because it wasn't sustainable and it wasn't realistic for my lifestyle. So motivation comes and goes, and that's one thing I'm learning. You get a lot more respect when you are disciplined at something. Discipline and consistency will take you further than a lot of stuff because people respect discipline, you know? So discipline is how I came up with my systems. So for me, sobriety taught me that because what matters is what you do when you don't feel motivated. And being sober helped me because, of course, in the beginning, I used to crave drinking again because that's what I did for a long time. But then after a while, I started to realize if I drank and the amount I was drinking, then I wouldn't want to get up and do the stuff I wanted to do anyway. So I figured if I was disciplined and just didn't drink, then I can get more done. That's how my brain worked at the time. But, you know, so for now that I'm not doing all that stuff and I can't rely on feelings and stuff, I have to rely on routines because I'm not drinking and I'm not all in my feelings about everything. And I'm like, oh, I don't feel like going to the gym. I'm hungover, like whatever the case may be. But I had to rely on routines and I had to build habits that supported the person I wanted to become. Now, on Sundays, which is today, I sit down and I plan my week. And making this podcast is actually helping me because I get to share you guys like the actual journey and how my thoughts become what I do every week. So I don't do anything fancy to plan out my week. I just look at my schedule, for work, see what I have coming up for my schedule or my daughter's schedule. I plan what content I want to do, like what am I going to talk about? What how am I going to edit the video? How am I going to make it look nice? I think about my music. I think about what vocal warm ups am I going to do this week? Like, am I going to focus on a new vocal warm up? What songs am I going to practice this week? What songs am I going to write this week? How am I going to network with some people in the music business? I just think about all that stuff. I think about finances. What am I going to spend money on this week? What bills are due? Like, it's a lot of different things that I think about. And I think about what I need to do to stay healthy physically and mentally. So that as you can see, that's a lot. Work schedule, content, music, daughter, finance, and staying healthy on top of all that. So I have to think about all that stuff today on Sunday. So that way when Monday comes, I'm not starting over. And I already have a plan. I already know every category this week. What am I going to do? Now, you might need to make tweaks throughout the week. Say an appointment gets rescheduled, you might have to work your schedule around that, or something comes up. Of course, nothing's going to be perfect, but just try your best. This is what I did, try my best to like get everything organized in one book. Like I have a planner, so that way and when every day comes up, I already know what I'm going to do. I already have a dedicated time slot. Okay, in the morning on my walk, I'm going to do my vocal warm ups. Okay, at lunchtime, I'm going to post that content I've been thinking about. Like it's just like simple things like that you can do to just prepare yourself for the week. So this mindset shift changed everything for me. I also realized that trying to do everything at once was keeping me stuck. So instead of me trying to accomplish all this stuff in one day, I just every day I do a little bit. Like say if I start writing, I find the beat on YouTube on Sunday and I start writing like on Monday I write the whole song out. And then Tuesday I tweak it how I would like to say it in the studio. And then Wednesday I figure out what harmonies and backgrounds. You see what I'm saying? I build it throughout the week as opposed to trying to do everything in one day. And then I get frustrated and then I'm like, oh, this don't sound right. And then I scrap the whole thing. But when you do things in pieces, it works out for you. So, because I used to feel like I needed to fix my whole life in one weekend, and that's just not realistic. Like I can't change all my finance in one weekend. I can't change my body in one weekend. I can't change my music career in one weekend. My content can't change in one weekend. My relationships, everything. I can't do all that in one weekend. It's little bit by little bit, you build and you grow and you get better. So now my focus is on just the next step. Not the whole staircase, just the next step. What am I going to do tomorrow? Or what am I going to do today to get to the next step? So, this week is a good example in my life. I'll share a little bit personal about what I did this week, specifically for me. So, recently I figured out my summer capsule wardrobe. Now, I used to weigh a lot more than I weigh now. So, I lost a few pounds. And I had to go through my closet and figure out the pieces that I could still fit and figure out what I had as opposed to going to go buy all this new stuff. So I created a summer capsule wardrobe. So I picked out a bunch of items that I can repeat and put in different ways. And it looks classic and it's great. Like this weekend, I wore a black off the shoulder top with some denim shorts and some black heeled sandals. And I had my black clutch, but I didn't take a picture of that. I should have took a picture of that. But it was a cute outfit. So like I didn't have to go out and spend all this money. I just put together a wardrobe. And now when I get ready, I already know, okay, if I'm running errands, this is what I wear. Okay, if I'm going out, these are the options I have. I already have a plan. So that way I don't have to think, if an event come up, say it's like a music festival and I want to go, like, oh, what am I going to wear? I got to go buy stuff. I got to order stuff. No, I already have a summer capsule and I can repeat the same pieces over for the summer. Now, if I want to buy a shirt or a pair of shoes here or there, then that's cool, but I can repeat stuff. So this week I came up with my summer capsule and I'm feeling really good about it. I also figured out a content system that works for me. So sometimes we try to do all these big grand schemes of things and and you look at other people content for motivation and you're like they have a whole team. They have a whole professional camera and I'm sitting here on my iPhone 17. So I came up with a system that works for me that I can record on my phone and that's low pressure. Most of it will be batch recorded or it'll just be a simple 2 minutes of my day to record a short form video talking about my music or my podcast or my sobriety. So that system works for me. It won't work for everybody. I don't need a big production. I just need for my mental health to document my journey and to feel good about what I'm doing, knowing that I'm growing and I'm helping someone. That's all I need is a little system for me. So I stopped trying to reinvent my content every day. I realized that I don't need 100 different ideas. I just need a few good ideas that I can repeat consistently. And I know I just talked about content in my summer capsule fashion, but this can apply to your life too. And it can just simplify for an idea like for your everyday like working mom or working parents, or even if you're not working, if you're entrepreneurs, like coming up with the meal plans on Sunday, meal prep. You can meal prep 2 days a week. On Sunday you make enough dinner to last through Tuesday or Wednesday, then on Wednesday you make enough dinner to last till Saturday or Friday, or eat out on Friday and Saturday and just worry about Sunday through Thursday. Just come up with a system where you're not even thinking about it. When you're getting ready for your day, you already know what you're gonna have for lunch. You already know what you're gonna have for dinner. Breakfast is easy. You can either skip breakfast or make a little quick thing for breakfast. But make sure you know what you're gonna eat for lunch and dinner. That way you don't have to worry about it. So that's how it can apply to your life too. So most of the progress I've made really didn't come from doing something big. It just came from doing all the small things over and over again. So me taking my walks, planning my week, recording a piece of content, writing a song, going to the studio, saving a little bit of moolah, a little bit of money, showing up every day again and again. And I'll be honest, doing all this stuff and actually document it for the world to see can sometimes feel like, oh, why you doing? No, like honestly, I'm doing this because sometimes I even go back and look at my videos and say, wow, I've made a lot of progress. Like from the first day when I said, day one, I'm about to get sober, or I'm about to start writing songs again. Like I'm about to get back in my music bag. Like I did this for myself. But even though you're doing it for yourself and you think that showing your journey can help other people, sometimes people will not understand your journey. Sometimes people will have opinions. Sometimes they think that they know what's best for your life. I've learned that if I spent all my energy reacting to everyone else's opinion, I wouldn't have any energy left to build my future. So now I just try to focus on my plan. Not every opinion, not every comment, not every distraction, just the plan, because the plan is what gets me where I want to go. If you're listening to this and you feel like you're constantly starting over, I want you to know that you're definitely not alone. But the answer might not be that you need to try harder or you need to work harder. I think the answer is creating a system that supports the life that you're trying to build, not the life Kiana's trying to build, the life you're trying to build. Something simple, something realistic, and something that you can actually stick to. Don't go try to build Rome in a day, because we already know that's not possible. Because the only thing that's going to help is being consistent every time. It beats working hard every time. Being consistent beats working hard every time, because you work so hard in one day and then you're drained. So be consistent. Still work hard and still try your best and do your best and put your best foot forward, but be consistent. And before I go, I just want to leave you with a question for the week. What's one thing that you can do this week that your future self would thank you for? Don't think of like a million things. Like, don't think like 10 things or 20 things. Just one thing and start there. So it could be something simple. My one thing this week that my future self is going to thank me for is putting together a summer capsule wardrobe, period. So just start with that one thing that you feel is going to help you in your future. And it could be one little system you create. It doesn't have to be a huge system. It could be something simple like, oh, I'm just going to prep my lunches for the week. You don't even have to prep lunch and dinner. You can just prep your lunches for Monday through Thursday and then eat whatever you want for lunch on Friday. That's what I do. So I really just want to thank you for listening to episode 2. If you enjoyed this episode, follow the podcast, share it with someone who might need it, and follow me on social media for music, sobriety, and personal growth. I'll talk to you next week.